Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Jesse Jackson III, best-selling author and facilitator of the Don't Kick 'Em Out book and training series. This is video 2 of our 3-video series. If you did not watch video 1, go back and do so. It'll be greatly valuable to you. What we're doing here in this video is we're breaking down our understanding of dangerous behavior patterns. So what we see is whenever we're dealing with behavior, now remember, I'm giving teachers a very, very serious breakdown of exactly what they should be looking for. First thing teachers should understand is they should understand behavior. They should understand exactly what behaviors are what. Everything cannot be lumped together. Now let me give you one scenario of why this is so important for us to understand. I work with one district that had 12,000, this is a large company, so they had 12,000 behavior referrals, as to be exact, 12,700 behavior referrals. And these behavior referrals for this particular situation was for classroom disruption. So over the course of a year, a large company. And the problem with that was that I had 9,800 different interpretations of what classroom disruption was. So did you see? It's no way I can solve that problem. And folks, this is exactly what our problem is. People are not, they can tell you what's bothering them. They can't tell you the violation. So the thing that's really key here is that you help teachers, that I help you to understand, help schools to understand what behaviors are we dealing with and trying to deal with. Until I know what the kid did or the violation, I can't change the kid's behavior. I can't even address it. A lot of teachers can, I know they can tell me why they're upset, but they can't tell me what the kid did. And we get kids who get kicked out of school because they made the teacher mad. That's not a suspendable offense. Okay, it might be an ethical or a personal offense, but it's not a suspendable offense. You can't just lock people up or kick them out because they made you mad. Let's take a look at it. This will help a lot of people. Let's see what we got. Here's what I want you to always understand. When you are dealing with behaviors, here's the question you should always ask. There's always someone factually causing the behavior. There are people who are triggers to the behavior, and there are people who, kids that have pre-existing conditions. Now, for the sake of discussion, so we understand, typically the cause of behavior, is the teacher causing the behavior? No. Is the teacher the trigger of the behavior? 9.5 times out of 10, they are. So the teacher didn't cause the problem. The problem is developed at home. The kid comes to us in this condition. But the teacher's a trigger because the teacher's unaware of, or sometimes some teachers are aware and they just like to trigger kids. I've met people like that. But they're unaware that they are walking into a kid's traumas, walking into a kid's issues, thinking and believing or being unaware of the fact that, hey, I actually sound like this kid's mother. I actually sound like somebody else who put this person down. Okay? I had a kid tell me today that he tried to do school, but it didn't work. And he said no matter how much he tried, he always failed. Right? Now, once again, this is a very intelligent kid. This kid can communicate really clearly. But what happened to him at the point where he was open, he said last year he tried, but they still failed him. Now notice, he's not likable. So that means typically when you get mad at him, y'all are not going to get along, and his probability for failure is very high. Now, people will say, well, that's not professional and everything. Well, see, you guys are not dealing in reality, because the reality is that when people don't like you, they treat you a certain way. Now, we would tell the teacher, get your feelings out of the way, and you got to be professional, and you got to treat all the kids the same. That's not reality, because that's not teaching. At all levels of education, everybody knows they have people they like and dislike. And the kids that are less likable, they don't get as much access to you. They don't get you to extend yourself. The kids you like, the kids that show they're hungry, asking teachers to help them, that's the teacher's dream. You need my help? Oh, I'd love to help you. But that's normal. But the kid who's a jerk and is refusing your service and refusing your gift becomes oppositional to you. It's pretty normal. That doesn't make the teacher wrong. What makes the teacher wrong is that the teacher is unaware of how they feel. So notice, kids come to us in a condition. the teacher can either make this kid's situation better or make the kid's situation worse. A lot of times with the way teachers respond, they make it worse. Pre-existing conditions, these are things that are going on with the kid before they met us. And a lot of times the parent's not going to tell you, and now the kid is in here doing things like, what is wrong with this guy? And it was pre-existing. So it's very important for the teacher to understand where do you fall in behavior patterns, cause, triggers, or pre-existing. Typically, we're the trigger. Now, second piece, taking a look at behaviors. The overwhelming referral is for profanity and willful defiance. Profanity and willful defiance. What does profanity mean? When people are using profanity at you, very simply, they're telling you you're not listening. That's what profanity means. So these two behaviors up top are behaviors that I know I can manage or improve. People curse at you, you're not listening to them, or there's a lack of respect for you. And so that's something, no suspension is going to make a kid respect me. I can't get the AP to get the kid to respect me. So I have to work on that relationship, or what am I presenting to the kid that has them viewing me in that light? There's nothing outside of the teacher taking pure, raw ownership of the fact of what's going on with me and this kid. There's two errors here. Notice in the traditional education program, if you curse, you go home. And what did that mean? You're under the assumption that the parent's going to correct it at home. Well, in the last chance program, the parent is the one who made the kid feel that way. Let the kid believe or know that it's all right to talk to you like that. So whenever we're suspending and sending the kid back to the person who taught him that, it's like we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Nothing outside of me and you getting on the same page is going to work. It's just not, it's illogical to think I can get a principal, an AP, to make a child respect me. Second part of flaw. In our business, we were taught that if the kids don't like you, it's okay. The kids shouldn't like you. Anybody who taught, see, teachers weren't taught business skills. See, as a teacher, you know what a teacher is? A salesperson. You're selling hope and education. And you got to understand, when I get more cooperation for my kids, then that's when the magic happens. You're in these environments, understand a lot of kids don't have self-esteem. They're not coming to school for themselves. They have not yet sometimes found the value of education. So who are they really taking those tests for? Who are they really performing for? They want to make somebody happy. And a lot of times they know, if they know how the teacher feels about them, those kids take that test for that teacher. They don't want to let you down. Now notice this. Until a person, now in a traditional program, people would say that's illogical. They'll say the kid needs to go to school for themselves. I understand, you are right. In this reality, where self-esteem is it's a common beatdown, people actually have more faith in other people. Now you see kids do this with negativity. They'll get caught up in the wrong crowd and let that negativity, pleasing negativity, cause them to fight, curse out teachers, and do all type of foolishness. It's just facts. So it now becomes that the teacher really understands that, wait a minute, this kid. So do you realize the schools that test well, they tap into something else? Those are those districts that put a lot into testing. And it's not just practice tests. It's the psychology of testing. Spending time on test rallies, spending time telling the kids how important the test is and how important the test is to the teacher. I always say, man, a lot of times I know my kids are competing and doing things because they want to make me happy. I know that. I personally know I've got hundreds of kids that come to school just because of me. Now, you say, well, they got to learn eventually how to do it themselves. Yep, you're right. They're not there yet. See, the reality is that the broken kid who comes from a broken situation, and I'm in the process of building them up, they're not there yet. The reality is we have thousands of our kids are behind. Their self-esteem is in the toilet. So sometimes you have to love people and help them love themselves because they're not there yet. And so sometimes their appreciation for who I am gives them a reason to be a part of something and know someone cares about them. And you can't give cliches that people don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. The reality is, if you're a hopeless person and a broken person, having somebody to believe in you it can cause you to reroute your life. It was like legitimately until I knew I was letting my teacher down, or I knew my teacher noticed that I wasn't in class. It never got my attention because I didn't think anyone cared. When a teacher was saying to me, like, man, I missed you yesterday. You can't keep coming to my class late and missing my class. I'm thinking, like, I didn't know a teacher cared if a kid didn't come. You see what I'm saying? So that is willful defiance. Means the kid doesn't like you. Profanity, you're not listening. So they're trying to get your attention. What's the guaranteed way to get a teacher's attention? Profanity, curse. The teacher will stop in their tracks. Teachers will ignore you until you cuss. Wait a minute, what did you just say? Hey, watch your mouth. Get up, come on now, it's time to go. Willful defiance means they don't like you. So that means nothing's going to improve that relationship outside of you getting on the same page with the kid. We're partners. I need that kid to work for me. I need that kid to come to school. I need that kid performing. And so I'm his coach. Like, now that's the difference in a last chance in a traditional program. In a traditional program, you're his teacher. In the last chance program, you become the coach. Now, this is why I'm giving these new skills. This is why I'm doing these videos, because we're asking teachers to do something that we have never found as normal prior to now. So you see some programs like in Dallas where they put all their priority schools together that have been failing, did some new things with it, got a new hand-selected staff, paid the teachers more. It's a paradigm shift. This is becoming the way of the world, and people need to know how to do these things. How do you train that staff at the higher level? And these are things we need to understand. So those two we can work with. These are the behaviors that we can't. Fighting, threats, sexual misconduct, weapons, drugs, verbal assaults, threats, acts of violence. So what I know as a person who's a juvenile guy, who's rehab people, and some people I know I can't get to at all, they're not there. It's when I see certain violations, I know that it's telling me if I can work with you or not. You can't put your hands on people. Now always remember, safety security is paramount. Safety security is paramount. When teachers start getting hurt and getting in fights, and I'm telling you, I get so nervous and concerned because once you lose contain, which is safety and security, it's a football term, contain, meaning contain the runner. If you miss your lane and get beat to the inside or overrun the outside, and then you lose containment, they're going for a touchdown. Same thing. You lose containment in a school, safety and security is out of the door. Now we're having fights. Kids think they can threaten teachers. Kids think they can say things and bully and tape videos in class. And they're holding videos up at teachers. This is the mindset that we are dealing with, and our approach tells the kids whether it's acceptable or not. What I'm saying is that we are setting some horrible precedents and policies that are unacceptable and an embarrassment to our business, and a complete embarrassment to our business. That's what I'm telling, what I know. That's when teachers are starting to make this stuff up, and you think you know what you're doing, and a guy gets 3 days for fighting and he's back in school. You don't know what you're doing. I'm going to tell you their face. You don't know what you're doing. Under no circumstance should a kid fight and come back to general population. Now, this is what I'm telling all the schools to do. You got to figure out, take the time, find the money to be able to have a inside in your building, inside contained program. But once people fight, they can know a no tolerance for fighting. They can know you fight and you get expelled, not suspended. No, you can't go to school here. Now, there's no one who's going to make me keep somebody that hurts people. Says that you don't know the law. Don't go quoting me laws about how many days. You don't know the law, and you don't know what you're dealing with, because there's things I cannot tolerate. Safety and security have been breached. Threats, act of terror. You cannot sexually touch people and harass people and bring weapons and bring drugs and think you can stay in school. You can't put your hands on nobody. I'm telling you right now. So you, as an institution, as an individual, have to know the difference. When you see those things, I'm telling you, and I'm demanding that every school get cognitively aware to the dangers of fighting and personal injury. It is not okay. It is not something you tolerate. It's not something you talk to the kid about. No, you have to go home until further notice. And now, as a district, we got to find a place for the fighters, because fighters cannot be in here. Now, see how passionate I am about it, because I know this from being a juvenile guy who locked people up. And so one of the things I know in rehabilitating people, when people are comfortable with touching people and coming across that line, and now that lets me know I can't help you. That's those guys I'm letting go to prison, because that's the first thing you learn as a child is self-control. So now I don't have any tolerance for, so I'm harder on it, hear me clearly, in elementary, because that's a training ground. So now I'm training you. Now I have more time. This is why our program runs on 3 levels. I have my pre-K program, 4 levels, excuse me. My pre-K and my elementary, then my junior high, the high school. I coach all 4 levels very different. So my pre-K and 4K, I deal with them different because I know I can still, at that level, get to the kid. So we're trying to send strong, hard, stern messages to the baby schools. Once we get to middle school and things like that, no. Now, you as a district have to find an alternative for the kid, whether that's an alternative school in the district, whether that's an alternative school on your program. If a kid fights, I'm of the professional opinion that they have to be referred for law enforcement, period. Now, what are we trying? Notice what I'm saying. What am I saying? That's the cutoff. Notice what I just said. Personal injury. You cannot touch people. Now, teachers have to be trained what a fight is, because now they'll start saying, well, he hit somebody, he fought me. We got to train you to what a fight is, so you can clearly see this is a fight. But I like to get the law involved. You can't touch nobody. Now, once again, if you're a jerk, you can't control your mouth. You're a moron, hard to deal with. I can deal with that all day. That's what I do. You can't touch nobody. You can't threaten nobody in here. I'm never letting anybody in my program get hurt. Now, you can make up 15 million excuses. Get away from me, because I'm not listening to one of them. Nobody who's with me at my school is going to get hurt. Anytime people fight, somebody can get hurt. Anytime my teachers got to break up a fight, somebody can get hurt. I have a lot of my teachers that I've seen this year are pregnant, expecting, and then you're telling me I want them in there restraining a child who's out of control, a 7-year-old who's out of control. I'm telling you what I know, man. And I know too much about the business. What I'm saying is a new discussion must be had and new policies must be made internally so you can manage your own issues. We can't do what we've been doing. It doesn't work. It's dangerous. And someone is going to get hurt. This is video 2, showing you breaking down behaviors. Ones we can work with, ones we can't. We can work with the ones at the top. These ones at the bottom are borderline of criminal conduct. The older the kid gets, they're in a dangerous, more terminal position. So when I have young kids, I'm in a more position to teach, but it has to hurt. When you fight, that is, you need to be of great inconvenience to your parent. That's something we could say a no fight tolerance policy. If a kid know they gets 3 days for a fight, they can punch somebody, take the 3 days off. They know they get 5, punch somebody, take a week off. They know they get 10. I don't like it here anywhere. Give me my 10. But if they know they're expelled or referred to law enforcement and can't go to school here, they will think much differently and adjust their behavior. Dr. Jackson here, hoping you're getting a lot out of it. Remember, watch every video. If you watch the first one, watch the second one. And guess what? I'll see you on the other side. See you for video 3.